Sorry, y'all. I forgot to add one more thing. This was really important. This just popped in my mind as an example of how the hurt and pain and stuff impacted my life. So, when I was getting married, uh, my me and my dad had like a rocky relationship. I mean, now it's healthier now. But when I got married almost 8 years ago, my father was not reliable. He would, say he was going to do something and didn't do it, or he would, hey Eve, thanks for joining again. It's just this should be literally a few minutes, like literally. So, my dad was like, oh, I'm gonna do this for your wedding. I'm gonna do all that stuff. So I was like, okay, great. And I believed him, gave him a chance to. But in the back of my mind, I knew like, okay, well, let me just be prepared if he's not gonna, if he doesn't come through. So of course, he didn't come through, and I was cool. Like, okay, no problem. Everything got done, everything got paid for, and then, so after my wedding, my husband said he was going to do something and he didn't do it, and I take your time. Like I'm in church, like take your time, Pastor. When people say that in church, you be looking at them like, I'm ready to go home most of the time. Natalie, my BFF, you're a celebrity. Thank you for joining me, Natalie. And make sure you share this with all your celebrity friends, Natalie. I miss you too. So my dad didn't follow up. So, I was like, I told my husband, like, dang, that's bold. He said he was going to do all this stuff. And it wasn't that he didn't have the money. Let me just kind of give you guys a brief synopsis. So, you're here to see what I'm talking about. So, my dad was like, okay, I'm going to pay for this. I'm going to pay for that, all this stuff. So I'm like, all right, cool. So then after the wedding, he's like, well, I just didn't have the money. I didn't have the money. And I was like, okay, well, I understand. But then he told me about how he had just went shopping and ordered all these TVs he ordered 2 TVs from the Home Shopping Network. And he was trying to sell one because he couldn't pay for both of the payments. Now, this is after my wedding, like right after. And I'm like, you didn't have the money, like you just ordered these TVs, so clearly you had the money, you just chose not to use it for me. Anyway, so that was the history, but I was sad, I was really hurt and disappointed, but I knew that I felt like stupid for feeling that way, like I shouldn't have believed him anyway, but whatever, it got done. So then the next I think it was probably maybe later that day, my husband said he was going to do something, he didn't do it, and I flipped out, like nobody do what they supposed to do, men are stupid and blah 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 blah. And he's just like, well, what the heck is wrong with you? Like, it's not that big of a deal. I'm sorry, I'm going to do it, or I forgot, or whatever. But that just goes to show you. So in the beginning, and I didn't realize that was why, so I would get really upset with him if he said he was going to be at my house at 5 o'clock and he got there at 5:01, or let's say, when he got home, if he said he was going to be there at a certain time and he wasn't, oh boy, oh buddy, it was like, oh okay, yep, just like my dad, ain't coming, ain't following through. I had no grace, but I didn't realize that it was from the hurt and pain that I experienced. So, as a result, he'd be like, well, dang, what the heck? Like I can't even make no mistakes, So that caused like a little rift in our marriage until we got to the root of it. Like, oh, okay, you think I'm like your dad, but I'm not. So get your mind together. But that it took time for me to get that way. So that was just an example of how, and if I had not realized that early on, that could have ruined our marriage. I mean, me blaming him, and because people are gonna make mistakes. He's not gonna be there all the time. He's not gonna be on time every time. He's not gonna do everything he said we're gonna do. We forget we're people. We're gonna make mistakes, and we're not gonna do everything we say we do all the time. It's just impossible for us to do that. So I just wanted to give that example to show you how important it is to figure out. You said something. Hey, Minister Rhonda, you said something must be wrong with your phone. Oh, you can't hear it off of it? Well, I hope you'll be able to replay it. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong. So, but that could have ruined our marriage had I not realized that. Oh, you had to hit the screen. Okay. Thank you for joining. Okay, good. So, if I hadn't realized that the hurt and pain that I had from my dad was how I was responding to my husband, I would have. Our marriage probably would have ended because I was always, they were like the same, they were equal. So even though my husband hadn't hurt me how my dad did for the first 15, 20 years of my life, I was treating him the same way, but I didn't know that. And so, after counsel and therapy, and, just, I was able to see that, like, oh, okay. Hey, Monique. I was able to see that, but that can ruin your relationships if you're not healed from something that has happened in the past, and you're treating people like they've hurt you, or because they make a mistake and not show up or not follow through. Hey, Justin, you can treat other people based on your experiences from the past. And I'm not saying that it's not safe to have boundaries and all that stuff, but you can't allow the people that have hurt you in the past. You can't treat the current people, I get, if that makes sense. If that makes sense, like, my husband had no intentions of being like my father. His reason for making mistakes or whatever was completely different from my dad, but yet I was responding to him like he was my dad. So had we not got that addressed, we probably wouldn't be married today. I mean, it'll be 8 years in November. But I had to realize that I was treating people like, if somebody didn't follow through, I was like, oh, yep, write you off real quick. You gonna do what you say you're gonna do. Like, I'm perfect. Like, I do everything I say I'm gonna do. And of course we try, but my dad intentionally would say I'm gonna do something and then choose to do something else, or just because he just didn't do it. But I responded to other people, even my friends, like that. Like, oh, you don't want to do that? Okay, okay, well, we'll see how long we be friends, and I'll act all funny or whatever, basing, their mistake off of my dad's actions. And that can ruin relationships, friendships, marriages, fiance, whatever, whatever type of relationship. I mean, if you got a relationship with your dog, I mean, it can ruin all type of relationships. So, look at the other video for healing. I was talking about, like, healing and how, it's important to heal. The process is hard, but, it's important to do that in order to move forward in life and just be all really that God has called you to be. You can't walk around with shame, guilt, pain from the past, and sometimes it's a long journey, so you got to start somewhere. Start with one step, just take one step at a time. I mean, it's hard for me to think about all the things that I've experienced in my past and that I have to heal from, but it just takes one thing. So I'm taking one thing at a time, and I am, oh, BFF. Oh, Natalie, you're so sweet. Thank you. You have a good day too. I am taking one thing at a time, because if you take, you try to think about, okay, I need to heal from this, and that, you'll get overwhelmed. So take one thing at a time and ask God, like, Lord, help me to see how this impacted me, because I don't realize it, or how do I really feel, and allow yourself to feel the emotions. I mean, the anxiety that you may feel, the hurt, the sadness, whatever that you feel that, and allow God to heal your heart from that. Because if you don't, you'll continue to treat people based on how you've been treated in the past, and you won't be able to have any healthy relationships, and you'll end up just miserable based on the past, and because you're hurting and you really don't realize it. So just ask God to help you see, because most people are walking around hurting and they have no idea. They might be angry all the time. It's like, well, why are you mad all the time? And it's not because of anything you did. It's because of something that happened years ago in high school, when people used to tease them. So now, if you look at them funny, they ready to fight you, because they think, they thinking back to how Jesse used to tease them about having dandruff. Like, I used to have dandruff when I was in school, and people used to tease me about that all the time. But if I allowed that now to, somebody look at me and I'm like, why do I have dandruff? Like, oh, what you looking at? That will ruin my life. I mean, it will consume me, and the hurt and pain that I had was consuming me, and I had no idea. So, ask the Lord to help you to see, what it is that you're upset about, the anger or the sadness or whatever you're feeling, because most time we don't realize it. But you have these emotions, and you think they're surface, but they're not. So I'm getting a call from work, so I gotta go, y'all. All right, peace.